Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Canada Pyramid ranking. Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting race. Kind of hard to pick who is, well, kind of hard and also kind of not hard. And I also feel like I should say that we tried to create variation in who's on the pyramid. So sometimes it's like, you don't want to keep putting the same person, even though in some ways we kind of did keep putting the same person in the same spot. But you just want to have new people to talk things over with. I don't want to spoil what's on here, but I also potentially thought about putting, this isn't what is top of the pyramid, but I thought about putting rain at the top of the pyramid because it didn't really, I mean, it did give us, it spiced it up. It didn't spice it up enough to the point where
I don't know if enough for the top position, but
yeah.
It was good, not great.
And it was good, not great. And maybe going forward, we should like ask people who they like fun suggestions for the pyramid. Things that are not drivers or teams, but more like,
because I like the
groundhogs,
right.
You know, who were risking their lives.
Where were they?
They were out during practice.
Okay.
They were popping up and
running around. I don't watch practice,
so. And I think that they kind of vanished.
Got scared.
Thankfully, no one got.
I was worried they were like exterminated from the island or something. I didn't want that.
They've been hit too many times.
Yeah.
Should we just jump into the pyramid?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'll let you talk while I unveil.
So number 10, bottom of the barrel. This week goes to Ferrari for lots of reasons. First, they were out in Q2.
Bad.
Not good.
Not good.
Not good at all. And then Chucky had a lot of problems during his part of the race. He had some engine issues. Then he came to the pit lane. I thought he was going to retire. Turns out he was just rebooting the engine, steering wheel, whatever it was. We don't really know. Do we know it?
I don't really know what it was.
Yeah.
Some engine problem.
Yeah. I just kept waiting. I was like, why are we all still standing here? He's obviously retiring the car. Then he didn't. And then he did. And then Carlito was,
spinning round and round.
Exactly. Caused an incident with Alex.
Yeah. It was just also after the high of Monaco last weekend. Obviously, Charles Leclerc winning, Carlos on the podium too. And then you have just this pretty stinker of a performance. But you know what? Such is Formula One. And
Amen.
I like the fact that we have these different, the variation of, okay, this weekend, Ferrari's great. Then the next weekend, here's Mercedes doing pretty well. McLaren seems to be pretty consistently good.
Yeah.
Red Bull, obviously, well, one of them is doing, consistently well. But it just keeps it fresh. It keeps it fun. And I feel like it's good for the sport. Keeps it interesting.
Agreed.
Okay. Number 9.
Number 9 goes to the other Red Bull driver, Chenko, Clackers. Am I missing one? Perez.
We said Sergio Chenko, Clackers.
Out in Q1 again.
he wishes he was out in Q3. This is the one where I felt like, okay,
I know, I don't want to keep
Checo's
putting
been
him
at
there,
the bottom,
he
deserves
there.
to be here. He does deserve to be at the bottom. You guys cannot dispute that he deserves to be at the bottom. Happy for him that he gets the contract extension. That's obviously good.
Yep.
Stick around, but
I don't want to have to keep putting him here, but we will if we have to.
But getting on Q1 again, and then doing so poorly in the race. I mean, even before he crashed, he was just not making really any sort of headway. And then
he smushed his rear wing.
And then he smushed. So tough go for Checo.
Better luck next time.
He is heading to Spain. Obviously it's not his country of origin, but they speak the Spanish language. I know, obviously, Spain Spanish is very different than Mexican Spanish. It took me way too long to know that, like as an adult, to understand that. Like, I guess it's probably like English, like UK English and American English,
totally,
in a lot of ways. But anyway, hopefully he can get himself back on track in Spain, literally back on track,
quite literally,
and honestly, just like prove that Red Bull made the right choice by hiring him,
just like redemption for yourself.
Yeah, redemption for yourself. Just get yourself back on track.
Because as we've discussed before, we know he's a good driver. It's just he hasn't shown it that well lately.
Yeah, and you also need the confidence. I mean, to continue. So anyway, okay. Number 8 on the pyramid, we've got Williams. a tough go. Now, I don't know that they're fully deserved. Well, they're on the bottom because of the double DNF. But we got to give Alex credit. He got into Q3 this weekend, which was obviously good for a Williams. It's his second Q3 in a row, which is great. But
Logan got into Q2, which has never happened,
Q2,
right? Or not this season.
That's a good question. I actually don't know. But I keep seeing these graphics that show that. So Alex is like 30-0 against Logan in quali. But Checo is 24-6 with Logan. So like Logan's outqualified Checo 6 times.
That's kind of awesome.
But he's never outqualified Alex, which I think is kind of funny.
That's funny.
But then obviously Logan has his little crash. It's not little, but has the crash. Alex, collateral damage with Carlos and come away with nothing. And I think they were on for some points.
I think so too.
And also James Vowles is publicly, saying that, which I don't blame him.
I don't either.
But vibes are not always, when you have these types of like.
The vibes are low.
The vibes are kind of low. Yeah, I would say. High in some ways.
Well, they're
know.
optimistic, but,
Do you think we'll get a Carlos announcement ahead of the Spanish race? Like, because I feel like home race, they would.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. Also, just because I want the puzzle pieces to start fitting. Like, I want to just start understanding what we're looking at.
Yeah,
I'm a selfish gal, and I just want to know the answers.
Yeah, we're definitely heading towards that. I mean, we're getting inching closer and closer. So.
It does make it like I don't remember if we talked about it, but I kind of thought it would make sense to do it ahead of the Spanish race, but. Who knows?
I think it's going to come, actually.
I hope so.
I think that's going to come, and I think Ollie Bierman's announcement's going to come.
That'd be great.
And then we'll just have to wait for that, the Alpine, well, still the Mercedes, Sauber, and the last RB seat.
Yeah.
So,
I also thought Ollie Bierman's reaction could have made it on the pyramid.
For sure.
But honorable mention.
And our friend Alice was shown.
I know. That was so funny.
Yeah. In the
squealed.
Red Bull garage.
I was like, oh, I know her.
Yeah. After Checo
I was like, rewind.
Got out. That was... I mean, sad that she was sad, but it was funny. Okay, number 7, last on the bottom, is Haas. Now, for a moment there, Haas was looking pretty good.
Yes.
But, Haas has been pretty consistent over the course of the season. They've collected some points. Nico's got himself into Q3, but this weekend was just not quite... Nico was out in Q1, I believe.
Yep.
Kevin gets into Q2, but doesn't do much, much after that. And then they have their moment in the sun on their wet tires, but...
Moment in the clouds, really.
So true. But it didn't really amount to anything.
No, because the sun came out.
Yeah. And, I think, I don't know. This is kind of the part of the season where Haas tends to do pretty well in the beginning of the season. And then this is kind of where things start to kind of fall.
Now I just am like so curious to know if Kevin is staying or not.
He's not. My prediction is no.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Esteban and Ollie.
Okay.
Okay, number 5 or 6. There's here.
Yeah. Oh, Yuki. This is the good, not great tier. Number 6, Yuki Tsunoda. Bless him. He was doing so well.
He was, and it's funny. You say you don't really watch practice, but he was kind of struggling in practice, and Daniel was beating him. I say in quotes, though obviously we know it's that doesn't really matter, but it did seem like Daniel was a lot faster than him in practice, but he seemed to pull it together in qualifying and found some pace, and got into Q3, which was great. And he's been in I don't know how many in a row Q3s, but quite a few. I think maybe 4 in a row.
Yeah.
So obviously he's doing great. And then, he kind of had a bad start, but then he benefited from not pitting during the safety car and kind of, being strategic in that regard. But alas, he had his little moment in the grass, and they were both on. I mean, it was going to be a double points finish for V-Carb.
Yeah.
And
then it wasn't.
Then it was not.
But as it stands, Yuki's at V-Carb for 2 more years.
1 more year.
1 more year.
And then the Honda partnership transfers over to Aston Martin, and then they're going to say, "Hasta la vista."
Scary.
Hopefully not. Well, actually, maybe that I would love to see him at Aston Martin, but sorry.
Don't touch.
Okay. Do you want me to pull it, or does it hurt your back? It's fine. Okay. Number 5, Alpine. Now, in a lot of ways, you could say, good weekend for Alpine. double points, 3 points in the bag for them combined with Esteban and Pierre. Pretty good. But
tensions are high.
Tensions are high. You know, they made good strategy calls during the race. Esteban also was one of the guys who didn't pit during the first safety car, which gave him track position because he obviously started from like 18th or something.
Yep.
Pierre did pretty well, but it's just not great vibes. It's just not good vibes. And the post radios after the race, and just
a lot of animosity,
a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. It's just not a place I want to be.
And you just know you hate when people live with burnt bridges, you know?
Yeah,
it's just a shame.
It's tough.
But I will say, you know, in Esteban's defense, coming back to, I mean, I know there's a lot of DNFs and stuff, but to go from P18 to P10 is great.
Yeah. All right. And fourth on the pyramid, we have ourselves Lewis Hamilton. Now, Lewis was looking great in practice. He was looking like he was going to cook in qualifying, but disappointing qualifying.
It was more sous chef vibes.
Yeah. I mean, George gets P1 and Lewis, I believe, qualified P7, I want to say, or P6. It was because Daniel was 5th, and then it was either Fernando or Lewis behind him. I can't.
7.
Yeah, P7. Not great, but does decently well in the race, gets himself in good positions, comes in 4th, again, making some moves. But your teammate gets the podium. You miss out on that it's just, I don't know. Lewis is, I feel like, the super senior who is like still in school, but just is like all focus is on college.
Yes.
He is just
checked out.
And I don't mean he's checked out. Like, I still think he wants to do well, and I think he obviously cares, but
he's not putting so much. He's not everything's riding on this anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And
he's just gotten accepted into the Ivy League.
Yes.
Oh my God. Sorry for anyone who didn't listen to the podcast. I've tweaked my back like an 800-year-old woman, and so moving hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, I know I have to pass these tests, but I'm ready for college.
Yes, exactly. So
it's a very good analogy.
Thank you. And I was hoping. I mean, I thought maybe he could get pole during qualifying. I was kind of thinking like Lewis could get pole, but
I do think it's important to note that at the end, I was cheering for him to get on the podium
over George.
I was. I'm not sure why.
Wow.
Just gut instinct.
Interesting. That is interesting.
But alas,
didn't work. Okay. Number 3.
I don't remember who it is, so. Lando, driver of the day. He's just gotten, I feel like, so much. Well, the car's doing really well, obviously, but I also feel like he's just gotten a lot more confidence since he's won. Like, I feel like he had such a chip on his shoulder that he never won before, and now it makes everything okay. Like, I think he still would have preferred to win today, but he's not.
It's not like hanging over his head.
It's not this thing that can't be done.
Yeah, it's the monkey off his back.
But yeah, he did great. He overtook Max and George and then got overtaken again, but that's okay.
And I think the second safety car really, like, I don't know that was the exact reason he lost, but it definitely hurt. And I think he said in the post-race interview, he said, in Miami, the safety car benefited us. Here, didn't really.
Which was such a mature thing for him to say.
I know.
He was just like,
he is pretty self-aware.
He was like, it was good racing. It helped us in Miami and it hurt us here and it's fine. I'm like,
yes.
Grown up.
Yes. It's funny, actually. My dad was saying, maybe it was before qualifying. He was like, Lando kind of gives off this vibe that like, he obviously like comes from money and like had a lot of privileges because of that, but that his parents didn't give him everything he wanted, and he still seems to have like a good head on his shoulders. And I tend to agree with that. I feel like obviously his father's very wealthy. He was able to race and do all this stuff because of that, and had privileges that obviously lots of other people don't have. But he doesn't give me like, he sometimes can give me like
spoiled teenager.
Yeah,
but he's humble.
Not so much like spoiled rich kid vibes.
Totally.
And maybe that I'm just reading it in a different way than other people, but I don't really get that from him.
I don't either.
And I actually feel like in a lot of ways he has really wanted to prove himself because of the fact that like his family has money,
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to prove that I am not just here because my dad's rich.
Yeah. And he's not.
And he's definitely not. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Number 2, be careful of your back. George Russell. Now, this was a tough decision. Was George going to be P2 or is he going to be P1 on the pyramid? Now, gets pole position, which is great, but comes in third in the race.
Yeah.
A little bit disappointing, but a great weekend for George. We have to say, like, I'm not even sure where he finished in Monaco. Like, but
I don't either.
It was top 10, but it was
actually, maybe I can pull it up.
It was
in my notes.
Not great from what I can remember. Maybe he was like 5th. I don't know. Anyway,
Monaco.
It doesn't.
Well, it does matter now because I'm looking at he was 5th.
5th.
Oh, that was in qualifying. I don't have it.
He would have been if it was 5th in qualifying. He's probably 5th in the race.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Monaco, obviously.
There was no overtaking that happened in that top 10. But it was a good weekend for George, and I'm happy that, you know, Merck. It's just so weird. I mean, we were not around for the Merck dominance at all, but it is crazy that like this is their first podium of the year.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure for people that did watch the Merck supremacy years, it is even more shocking that, I mean, we are on year 3 of watching Formula One and
no Lewis win.
I mean, it is crazy.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So,
but it'll make it that much
sweeter.
We have
2 monkeys that we need to get off our back. Do you know what those are?
Well, I know Lewis winning.
Yeah.
And I want to know the other one, but I'm having a hard time. Daniel winning a world championship.
I was going to say
it's more like a gorilla. I don't know if we're ever going to get
Daniel
that one.
podium.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Seeing that. I feel like those are the 2 things that we would really love to see as fans who like got into it through a TV show and had favorites and whatever.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go full send and say Daniel winning, because I know podiums was realistic right now, but what we want in our heart is Daniel to win.
Of course. And maybe there's a 2020 Monza somewhere in this season where
that would be sublime.
That would be sublime. I don't think I'd be able to do the podcast.
Well, you'd have to.
I think we'd have to
have a job.
I think I would have to like wait like 24 hours, like a psych ward hold, you know?
Okay.
Like you just need time to kind of like mentally
you keep me posted
come
on that
down.
one.
I mean, if it ever happens.
When?
God,
she's so bad at this. Okay.
Number 1, top of the pyramid. Who's it gonna be? Max Verstappen. Congratulations to Max. You know, after a pretty not boring, but like lackluster performance in Monaco, qualifying 6th, finishing the race 6th, comes back, matches George's time in qualifying, but obviously did it after George, so started 2nd, and then gets the win, and just another Max masterclass.
Yeah, and I think I said this on the podcast, but it's really fun as a Max fan. I really enjoy what's been going on the last few races because he's racing, not driving, and he seems to be enjoying himself more. He seems more excited about what's going on, and I think it's funny. He's a lot more chippy now. Like he's a lot more aggressive, I feel like, on the radios now, but it's because he's fighting for something instead of just like being all the way out in front. So anyway, I'm just enjoying it, and credit where credit's due.
Exactly. So,
and he hadn't been up there in a while, so
yeah, I'm not even sure when he was up there last.
Doesn't matter.
So that is the Canada pyramid ranking. We will not be doing a pyramid for Spain because if you listen to our podcast episode, I'm going to be doing it somewhere else with a special guest. And so no pyramid for Spain, but we will be back. It is a triple header. We've got after that with Austria and then Silverstone. So we will be back with a pyramid for those races and many more races down the line.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys next time.
Enchanté.